Well, we're seeing a lot of very significant advances in AI and robotics at the moment, and they're particularly driven by a couple of fields that have made a lot of progress, such as machine learning and computer vision, and these are leading to some very significant applications.
The good news about the way the world of work is changing as a result of robotics is that at best we will get rid of the boring, routine jobs in service industries, just as we have in large measure got rid of the boring, routine jobs on production line. There's potential bad news in that we may create a new drudgery in less skilled jobs if we're not careful.
Some people are quite concerned about the prospect of technological unemployment, that jobs are going to be lost as a result of advancing AI technology. And indeed, I think there are some legitimate concerns there. One example is self-driving cars, where there's the potential for drivers to lose their jobs in the future. But at the same time, there's no doubt that new jobs, new kinds of jobs will be created, many of which we can probably hardly imagine at the moment.
I actually believe that in the future, bots, whilst they'll be taking over many tasks that humans do, there will be other opportunities that arise, such as things like space exploration and other technologies where there'll be a demand for human resources. So I don't necessarily think in the immediate future bots will replace human work.
I think a lot of activities that we currently perform might be replaced or changed by the availability of technology to help us or replace certain parts of those. But I think that's a long way from replacing everything that we do. The technologies that have developed very rapidly over the past couple of years are actually quite specific in what they're good at, and there are an enormous number of activities, from filling potholes to delivering social services, that they are a long way, decades and decades away from ever being able to replace. And it's questionable in some cases as to whether they should.
I've worked all my life in the transport industry, and in that time it's been one of increasing demand, increasing customer expectations and increasing pressures on both the people and the machinery that work within the industry. All our predictions are that for the next 20 years that will continue. I think without having technical gains that take the transport industry to another level, we run the risk that it grinds to a halt and the transport system is not able to meet the demands that's going to be placed on it.
I think the more interesting question might be, are we going to have to introduce an employment tax on bots so that we don't replace everybody?
I think we need to be cognizant that in this evolving economy of bots and artificial intelligence, that we'll see perhaps a greater divide of the middle class, which is something that from a social perspective we need to be aware of. But also that sectors of the economy that rely on human interaction, education, academia, healthcare, are probably going to increase in their cost, but potentially increase in their value as well.
I think the economy will change in that we'll all become much more self-determining about how and where we earn money and the times at which we want to earn money. There'll be less large organisations providing us with the kind of care and benefits packages that we've perhaps been used to in the past. That's a good thing because it means that we can control what we want to do.
What I'm hoping we see over the next 20 years is that the rise of AI and bots reverses the trend around the disparity of wealth between lower, upper and middle class, and we move to a more leisure-based society where social capital is more important than monetary capital. And if we get the transition right and we leverage AI and bots in the right examples, that will help us on that journey. If we make the wrong choices in adopting that, it might actually drive the divide the other way.
What we're seeing now is the very early stages of the communications revolution. And because we're in the early stages, we can't see how the efficiencies will be generated in the future. What we do know is that there is huge potential for making services more efficient and better, and that the one weapon we have for it is the new communications technologies.